The Dick Cavett Show. Tonight with special guests, John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Cavett.
Listen, I am afraid I have a major disappointment to announce. The tie that I wanted to wear didn't show up for today's show, and I'm going to have to go along with this one. No, the actual disappointment is that the Lennons asked that I not do a monologue because it... See, they find me so funny that if I convulse them backstage, they won't be able to come out here and talk. So I'm not going to do that. But we really have a terrific show tonight, as you know. It's one of the hottest tickets in town. The censor has an oxygen tent standing by for some reason. I don't know why, because first of all, he thought it was going to be an easy day. He didn't know exactly what show we were doing tonight. And he heard the word Beatle and thought it was a show on ecology and thought it was going to have a lot of fun. And now he knows who it is. And our censor is an older man and an interesting man. But a very fair man, and I have knocked him in the past, just joking. But we have an understanding now that from now on, nothing comes out of the show, and we think that that's a wonderful thing, because you're mature people, and I think have a right, want to. So, anyway, I realize that there's a tremendous request for autographs here tonight, but if you will leave your books, I will get to all of them eventually, and... Is this a surprise for me? I can't help noticing that, maybe I shouldn't mention that right now, that in the second row are two people peculiarly attired. I think I won't tamper with that at the moment. There are two people in bags, right? We've had a whole audience in the bag before, but this is interesting. Let us go away for just a moment. Talk to you about something. We'll be right back after this message of interest with you-know-whom.
Everybody take your shoes off! Nobody walks on my carpet!
Most women ruin their carpet before it's ever installed in their homes. The problem is the cushion they buy. It can cushion okay, but it can also collapse and crumble.
Oh, boy.
And smell. Carpet needs more than a cushion. It needs a foundation. Omalon Carpet Foundation, new from Olin. Omalon resists collapse, resists crumble, so it's perfect for stairs. And heavyweights are less of a problem because Omalon is engineered to bounce right back. Oh, yes, Omalon has no odor either. One thing Omalon can't do, it can't be copied. Omalon patented process carpet foundation. What you can't see can't hurt you anymore. Omalon, a product of Olin Science.
Pure, fresh, fast-dissolving Domino granulated sugar has been a natural ingredient of good homemade candies for many a year. Now that Halloween is coming, I'd like to show you some of the candies that will make homemade candy a treat to be remembered. Old-fashioned rock candy, candied apples, popcorn balls, and homemade taffy, made with Domino granulated sugar, and extra easy no-cook chocolate fudge made with Domino 10X confectioner's powdered sugar. Halloween or any time of the year, homemade candy is always fun to make and fun to eat. But see for yourself. Send for your free Domino sugar recipe booklet. It'll show you how to make this homemade candy easy, as well as many other good things. Just send your name and address to Domino Recipes, P.O. Box 1, Brooklyn, New York, 11202. Give all these fine Domino products a try, and you'll see why women everywhere are using Domino sugar to help bring back the good taste of homemade for their families.
I'm sorry, I can't answer that. I guess you all know that John Lennon, together with the three other fellows named McCartney and Harrison and Starr, were responsible for becoming, I guess, the most written about, most listened to, most imitated musical group of the 60s. And for about 8 years, they were leaders in the musical world. And not only that, but I probably affected what a decade of young people looked like and thought about and dreamed of. And they achieved the absolute pinnacles of success. They were even honored by the Queen, an honor which they eventually returned, I believe. I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise to anyone that the Beatles are no longer together. In recent months, John Lennon John has sort of surfaced in the underground press, where he gave a long interview in Rolling Stone magazine, in which he talked with a great deal of candor and some bitterness, I suppose, about the old days. And his wife, Yoko Ono, is maybe one of the most controversial ladies since the Duchess of Windsor. Wally Simpson kept the Duke from becoming the king. Tonight they are, however, quite above ground, and I'm very pleased to welcome them here. Will you welcome, please, John Ono Lennon and Yoko Ono Lennon. How are you?
Nervous, but okay, thank you.
Are you really?
Yes.
Now,
You?
is that a little bit?
Yeah.
But it isn't as if we've never met, because we did meet once.
We did meet in a dingy hotel room.
Right. So you're Jack Lemmon.
Yes. And you're Fred
wait.
Astaire. Or is it Orson
I'm
Welles?
not Fred Astaire. Yoko, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good, okay. Is there anything that you want to know about me to start off with that we could, just to sort of get
What do you do for a living?
To get the... actually, this is my profession.
I
know
thought you lived here.
Yeah, I practically do. I hardly ever get out of here. The chair collapses into a bed, and
It must be hard.
it's a bad. Do you have my kind of show
In England.
all
Yeah.
over the world? I mean,
They're
you've been
not
everywhere.
quite as good, you know.
They what?
They're not quite as good in England at repartee, you know.
Why is this?
Well, they're more inhibited, that's all.
The
You know,
English.
they don't have anybody that would sort of freak out a little.
Yeah.
Unless Jerry Rubin comes on, you know.
Oh yeah, Rubin came over and disrupted a show done by I can never think of the guy's name.
David Dost?
David Drost.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very exciting.
Yeah, it was a very exciting show, actually.
What actually happened? They came in and broke up the studio.
They broke up the studio, and David ended up in the audience to show that he wasn't with the young people, you know, which shows where he is at, really.
out
Nothing
there.
personal, David, wherever you are, red light.
You,
All right.
you know, I had a terrible feeling that my hair was going to be longer than yours. It's a funny thing, because I met you the other day. The recent pictures I'd seen of both of you, yours is extremely long, Yoko, and yours, John, was very long. And of
Yeah.
course, people going around saying, you know, I can't tell which one is which, and all. You know,
Oh, yes.
that sort of
Well,
witticism.
last year I cut mine, we both cut it right off down to about a quarter of an inch, 69 or 70, I can't remember. Because I just suddenly realized it wasn't functional, you know, to have it, when I had it down here, you just have to keep washing it and combing it. You know.
Yeah.
So then I chopped it all off, and then it just grew a bit, and then I just let it grow to this length.
What's your favorite length, Yoko? Are you at it right now?
Well, it depends, you know. We like change, and we just don't want to stick to one.
Who wants the same old haircut every day, you know?
No.
Sorry, that's
Have
my,
a different one every few months, you know?
that's my feeling. Did you save the hair by
Oh, yeah.
any chance? that
One
you-
time we cut it, we gave it to some Michael Malik, who was running a sort of black house in London, which wasn't exactly a Black Panther thing, but I think it was something to do with it. And they were just having a community centre in London, and we sort of symbolically gave it them. They were going to auction it off at wherever you auction hair off, you know?
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
That big place in London, I can't remember the name.
Sotheby's?
Yeah, that's it. It never happened, though. But it was a symbolic gesture, really.
So you don't.
Solidarity. Dim,
And that hair today then is missing.
Gone tomorrow. Yeah. Silly, isn't it? Oh, you're going to do this all the time.
We spent this much time there.
It's gone already.
Yoko, do you have fun when you're over here in this country?
Oh, yes, very much, because after all, this is my second hometown.
Yeah.
She lived here for 10 years.
People are surprised. They often say she speaks very good English. But you've been here a lot.
But some people ask me, well, can you speak Japanese? And then I get very offended, you know, because
Can you
I
speak
am
Japanese? Yeah.
You know.
Now you've offended her, haven't you?
Get me out of this, John.
Well, funny thing happened on the way in tonight.
It never has to me.
Nor me.
Not once in my life.
Nothing happened.
You want to tell him
whatsoever.
about that story, you know, whenever they talk to us and then they're not listening and then you start about that elephant.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that.
Have you, I suppose you get it, too, when
Private
people
joke
meet
between
you.
us, you know.
You know, like in a restaurant or anywhere, when you're trying to order something, you find that they're so struck by, oh, is it really you, that they don't really hear your order, you know. So when I'm talking to them, I'm saying, I'd like a steak, medium, and 2 elephants came and a policeman bit my head off, and a cup of tea, please. And they're saying, yes, thank you.
It really is like that.
Because they're not listening, you know. Probably half of them aren't listening now, which is a good thing, I suppose.
That's a terrible feeling,
Yeah.
to think that they're never listening at all.
Well, it's surreal, you know, I don't mind that.
Have you ever had elephant actually brought to you by someone who was listening?
And bit the policeman's head off, quite often, yes. It's an old Anglo custom, you know.
I'll believe anything. You like being over here, I gather. I have had some English guests on. What do you think of yourself as English, first of all? Let's establish that.
Well, sometimes, I mean, if you ask talking about being over here or being over there, then
Over
I think,
here.
well, I'm from over there, you know.
Yeah.
But I normally think in terms of, I suppose I think in cliques and things like other people, like musicians and or long hairs and or under 30, over 30, etc., etc. And being married to a Hawaiian, it makes you sort of more international, you know? Sorry about that.
So we sort of
Must be a
kid
mistake
each
in my
other,
notes.
you
Well,
know?
people think of us as, especially in England, not so much here, we get a bit more respect in America as artists, but back home, I think it's the case for all artists, back home it's a bit like, I'm the man that won the pools and lucky guy who had a spot of luck and married a Hawaiian actress, you know, and which isn't true, really. Do you get it?
Kid each other. Because I'm from Japan and he's from England, so somehow we found out that we're sort of passionately patriotic sometimes, you know, and we get, well, no, I mean, that's Japanese made, or no, I mean, you know, English are the first ones to
I mean,
do
we
this
invented
and all
radar
that,
and
you know.
penicillin, you know. But it's a fan turning into a hard hat, you see, when we start discussing, you know, well, we're both islands, and we're both little, and we both did this, and we both did that. And we find ourselves turning quite fascist discussing it.
You do.
Made in Hong Kong and all that.
Yeah. And you do jokes with each other, and you kid her about...
Always laughing, Dick.
Are you? Did you and laugh?
After
No.
this...
I mean, would you stoop to, you know, Pearl Harbor jokes and that
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
thing?
I do all that,
Really?
So speak English, ka? So English
They
pig.
do a kabuki thing.
Oh, yeah, there's a
know
kabuki
about
theatre in
kabuki,
Japan,
don't
and
you?
they have
I
a
know.
massive stage, and on stage they have the musicians with them. And
You've
all the
seen it
men
only
play the
once,
parts,
though,
you see.
yes.
And all the men play the women's part. They go, so that's kabuki, you see. I learned it after only one sitting.
It's very good.
Even
You-
Japanese,
do you know what it
yeah,
is?
they start to laugh when he does that, because it really is Japanese when he does that. I mean, kabuki, you know.
Only our hip
Very
nips will
kabuki.
notice how funny it is, actually.
There are 2 of them in Utah breaking up right now.
And I've seen one on TV with yellow glasses, and he calls himself the hip nip. And he pretended to be Italian in the war, I
Always
remember.
laughing.
Is
funny,
Mr. Lennon putting me on?
I don't know.
伊藤さんに面会したのですか?
Ah!
Was sind die 3 besten Dinge von der ganzen Welt?
Yo hablo poquito español.
¿Qué pasa?
Whose move is it? We have a brief message of interest from people of various creeds and colors, and we will return.